On the news today, top ISWAP commanders surrender. On the foreign scene, Uganda shut down 2 media outlets. Europe heat wave claims 1,000 lives in France. And in sports, Canada edged South Africa to reach last 16. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the news update at 12 on Dominion Television, Ibadan. I am Pat Aito. The theater commander of Operation Andikai has announced that some senior commanders of the Islamic State's West Africa province, ISWAP, have surrendered to troops of Operation Andikai following sustained military offensives against terrorist groups in northeast Nigeria. The theater command of Operation Andikai announced the development through its acting military information officer, Captain Mohammed Goni, who detailed that the commanders abandoned their hideout due to sustained military pressure and are currently undergoing profiling and debriefing in line with operational procedures. Goni said the latest surrender reflects the success of ongoing operations aimed at dismantling terrorist networks, disrupting the command structures, and restricting the movement of insurgents across the region. The federal government has confirmed that another evacuation flight will bring Nigerians home from South Africa soon, as authorities respond to fears of anti-immigrant protests scheduled to begin on June 30th. Speaking with journalists, the spokesperson for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kimebi Ebimfa, said an Air Peace aircraft left Nigeria this morning and is expected to return tomorrow with another batch of voluntary returnees. The government has advised the Nigerians remaining in South Africa to stay calm, avoid protest areas, remain security conscious, and keep in touch with the Nigerian High Commission. So far, 328 Nigerians have been evacuated in 2 previous batches. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has warned oil marketers against exploiting consumers, saying current petrol prices do not reflect the recent decline in global crude oil prices. The Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the FCCPC, Tunji Bello, said although the Commission does not fix petrol prices, it is responsible for protecting consumers and ensuring fair competition in the market. Also speaking, FCCPC Director of Corporate Affairs Ondaje Ijagwu, Bello stated that competitive markets must work fairly for both consumers and marketers. However, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, says marketers are already reducing pump prices in line with lower ex-depot prices from refiners, insisting that consumers are benefiting from the adjustment. The Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, has warned tertiary institutions withholding tuition refunds from students under the federal government's student loan scheme to comply with its directives. NELFund, in a public notice, said some institutions have failed to refund students who paid their tuition before the fund later disbursed the same fees to the schools. It also condemned arbitrary increases in tuition and other charges, saying such actions undermine the objectives of the loan program. The fund further said it is engaging affected institutions and relevant authorities to ensure eligible students receive their refunds promptly. It reaffirmed its commitment to protecting students' interest and maintaining transparency in the administration of the student loan scheme. Nigeria has moved a step closer to adopting state policing following the Senate's passage of the Constitutional Amendment Bill seeking to decentralize the nation's policing system. While the proposal is seen as a solution to growing insecurity, critics warn of possible political interference and funding challenges. Our correspondent, Damilola Daudu, examines the merit and demerits of state policing and what the reform could mean for Nigeria's security landscape.
Nigeria's move towards establishing state police has reignited debates over the merit and demerit of decentralizing the country's policing system. The discussion gained renewed momentum following the passage of the Constitution Alteration Bill by the Senate, which seeks to establish state-controlled police service alongside the existing Nigerian police force. The proposed amendment, now awaiting approval by at least 24 state House of Assembly, is regarded as one of the most significant security reforms since Nigerians returned to democracy in 1999. Speaking on the merit, a public affairs analyst, Ignatius Eboselome Ofino, argued that the initiative will enhance security by bringing law enforcement closer to the people. He added that the reform will reduce pressure on Nigeria's police force, which currently bears sole responsibility for policing the entire country.
There's one thing you must understand, is as a result of the failure of the federal police system, that was what led to the agitation for state police in Nigeria. State police will be able to identify the indigene and those who are non-indigene of that state. That's one of the merits, one. Then two, again, the issue of intelligence gathering will become more efficient and effective. Then three, again, it has been said that security and intelligence gathering should be localized. So for state police, it's going to be more localized. So you can be able to get more intelligence at the local level.
Despite these perceived benefits, it said concerns raised about the possible misuse of state police by political office holders, adding that governors could use the outfits to intimidate opponents, suppress dissenting voices, and influence electoral processes.
State police system might try to create what we call the abuse of power on the part of the executive governors of the state, who might want to use it against passive opponents during political tensions or when we have what we call political election in that state. That is one. Then two, again, when you look at the issue of state police system, it will lead to what we call factionalization of the country.
However, the public affairs analyst maintained that while state policing could help address Nigerians' growing security challenges, adequate safeguards, oversight mechanism, and constitutional check would be necessary to prevent abuse and ensure effective operation. Damilola Daudu, reporting for Dominion News.
And on the foreign scene, Uganda's military chief, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has ordered the closure of two of the country's leading media outlets, declaring that it does not believe in the free press. Kainerugaba, who is also the son of President Yoweri Museveni, said the outlets will remain closed until he grants permission for them to reopen. He did not give specific reasons for the directive, but stated that the media should be guided by what he described as cadres of the revolution. Meanwhile, newsmen reported that soldiers had been deployed to one of the station's headquarters in Kampala, preventing staff from entering or leaving the premises. France has recorded about 1,000 additional deaths during a record-breaking heat wave, according to the country's public health agency. According to reports, the extreme temperatures also triggered wildfires in Germany, while police in Benin used water cannons to cool crowds. The heat wave is now moving toward eastern parts of Europe, where the World Health Organization called for stronger measures to protect lives. Germany and Czech Republic both recorded new all-time temperature highs over the weekend, with temperature exceeding 41 degrees Celsius as the intense heat continued across the region. Ukraine has intensified its long-range drone attacks on Russia, setting fire to a major oil refinery in the country's south. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the strikes were aimed at reducing the resources funding Russia's war effort, Russian President Vladimir Putin acknowledged that the attacks have created a fuel shortage and pledged to strengthen the protection of oil facilities while increasing fuel production. He accused Ukraine of trying to weaken public support for the war and force Russia into negotiations. And from the world of sport, Canada have reached the FIFA World Cup round of 16 for the first time after a dramatic 1-0 victory over South Africa. Canada dominated much of the match but were repeatedly denied by South African goalkeeper Rowan Williams. Steve Estercure then scored the winning goal deep into stoppage time to seal the historic result. The victory is Canada's first ever knockout win at a FIFA World Cup and set up a quarter-final qualification clash against either the Netherlands or Morocco. South Africa, meanwhile, exit the tournament after an impressive campaign. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominioncast. And that's the news update on Dominion Television. Thank you so much for watching. I am Pat Ito.